What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. Now, with this video, we are jumping into Daredevil issue number 36. Now, this issue will be taking place prior to Devil's Reign, the brand new Marvel event where we are seeing a whole new, what appears to be, civil war with Mayor Fisk enacting a superhero vigilante ban in New York City. Now, if you want to check that issue out, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything going on with that series. But with this issue, it is going to be leading into that. Coming into the aftermath of everything that has been transpiring in the Daredevil line, we are going to see Daredevil freed from prison. He is going to be visited by Mr. Fantastic and have a very romantic conversation with Elektra. And so with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 36, we are picking up 5 weeks after the last issue. 5 weeks after the events where Daredevil had to be rearrested more or less. Because regardless of everything he just did, regardless of saving this city from a serial killer, multiple clone serial killers, at the end of the day, he is still a criminal. And superheroes, they are not above the law. But with millions seeing this all over the country, that debate, it is the topic of conversation more than ever. And so, with it being 5 weeks later, Daredevil now officially out of prison, with him helping uncover the prison inmates experiments that had been going on. Not only that, he stopped all of the clone Bullseyes. And meeting up, seeing Foggy and everybody, he's really excited to see them. But there is something else he has to do before he does anything else. And this is where Elektra pulls up. With Elektra pulling up, he goes over, he hops into the car. And that is where we are taken with Mayor Fisk and his new, lovely, soon-to-be wife, Typhoid Mary. And by all appearances, Mayor Fisk, he truly does seem happy. He seems like he is content with his life. He seems like this is everything that he has ever been missing. But while he sits here and enjoys this day, preparing for the wedding day, his assistant comes in to let him know some information. Some information about the current kingpin, who is Izzy. Now, she has been through a lot lately, and it looks like someone may be looking to take advantage of that situation. That somebody being Butch. And so, calling his car, he has a meeting that he has to attend. A meeting in Hell's Kitchen. Now, that is what picks us up with Daredevil and Elektra. The two of them making their way through these backcountry roads. Just talking about everything that has happened ever since he went to prison. And Daredevil, he has to ask the question, why did you do it? Why were you Daredevil? And what Elektra wanted to do was show Matt that she could be trusted, that she was serious about helping people, making the world a better place, and that she would even do it by his code. Now, while she's saying this, she is slowly taking off all of her clothes and she is headed into the lake. But Daredevil, he knows at the end of the day that this has something to do with her wanting to take on the Hand. And to do that, she needs Daredevil on her side. So she believed that if she were to pick up the mantle of Daredevil, live by the code, at least for a little while, show him, get his trust, then maybe, just maybe, Daredevil would side with her. But by pretending to be Daredevil, it really did give her a new understanding of what it is to be Matt Murdock. But Elektra needs to know, how did Matt do it? How did he make the world forget that he was Daredevil? And he divulges that he used the Purple Man's children. He did a mass hypnosis and made all of them forget. The only reason Elektra knows is because Elektra died. And so with the two of them naked in the lake, she is going to baptize him as a new man. A man free from prison, free from everything. A man about to begin anew. Now that is where we pick up with a conversation between Mayor Fisk and Butch. This conversation is really just letting Butch know that Mayor Fisk has been keeping an eye on him. And more than that, he has been digging into who he is exactly, telling him he's a smart kid. Doing more or less legal extortion is a great way for him to come up in this world. With Butch being only 3 blocks from here where he was raised, Fisk lets him know that he had a son. Now for quite a while, Fisk believed his son to be dead, but now he knows that that's not the case, because his son is Butch. And this was never a life that he wanted for his son. But regardless, it is happening, it's inevitable, and he lets him know that if anyone were to take the throne, were to become the new kingpin, they would want to do it relatively soon. Because if they didn't, they would have a lot more than Izzy to deal with. And with that, Mayor Fisk, he makes his exit. And that's what takes us to Mike Murdock. Being a good friend to Butch for most of this time, they sit down and they talk about what just happened. About how Mayor Fisk came to him, letting him know that if he doesn't make a move right now, then he might as well kiss being kingpin goodbye altogether. And so Butch, not really knowing what to do, not really knowing what direction to go in, he makes his exit, only for us to see Daredevil is sitting there. He had been eavesdropping on part of the conversation. Now, he didn't get the whole conversation, but he recognizes when something shady is going on. And so Daredevil, aka Matt Murdock, asks his brother, Mike Murdock, what is going on, who is that guy, and what are you getting into? Now, Mike at this point, he doesn't want to be lectured in any way, shape, or form by an ex-con, one who just got out of prison. And Daredevil lets him know that whatever you're scheming, whatever kind of get-rich-quick thing you're trying to do, I am pleading with you, just don't do it. And with Daredevil making his exit, Mike's problems, even Matt's problems, those are problems for another day. Because at the end of the day, Elektra is right. Daredevil has changed, and he's not sure how he's changed yet. He's not sure what he has changed into. He just knows that there has been some change. Now this is where Daredevil, he sees some thugs trying to rob somebody. He goes in to stop them, only to be met by Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic coming in and putting these thugs right on their butts. Now Daredevil, he goes over, he picks up the bag of money, and he lets these guys know to call somebody you love, call someone you care about, and go get some help. Tell them what you did tonight, tell them why you did it, and then ask them to help you be a better person. Now these guys, taking that as a cue, they hightail it out of here, and Mr. Fantastic, he has to ask, why did you just let those guys go? Why did you not call the cops, do something else about this situation other than just let these robbers go loose? Daredevil saying that the system, it just doesn't work. At the end of the day, after being in prison, seeing what it's like, he has a whole new perspective on how to handle criminals. And Mr. Fantastic lets him know, at times, even I don't trust the system, but if we don't have the system, then we have nothing at all. And he has been looking all over Hell's Kitchen for Daredevil because he was worried something might be different, something might be off about Matt. And so he wanted to talk to him, because the video of himself and the others helping Daredevil out, that video has gone viral, and now the discussion is up in the air if superheroes believe that they are above the law. And with nobody wanting a new superhero registration act, they have to find a way to maneuver around this in the best political way possible. And Daredevil lets him know, all of this is all just noise. The devil is trying to drown out what is right, what is just. Telling Mr. Fantastic maybe, just maybe, he needs to stop using that giant brain of his just for a second. Stop looking at all of the angles and ask yourself one question. What is right? Now this is where he takes off Elektra completely suited up as Daredevil, and we have the two Daredevils making their way through Hell's Kitchen. Not sure if this is going to end up being a problem later on in the future. One thing is for certain, with Elektra telling Daredevil that she thinks he is on edge, and that is because Fisk's wedding is tomorrow. And that is exactly what takes us to tomorrow, picking up the next day as everyone begins to make their arrival. Daredevil comes and has a sit down with Fisk and more or less tells him that I am happy for you. I am happy you are getting married. I am happy that you have found this kind of happiness in your life. And he lets him know that I'm sure you had something to do with that whole Bullseye fiasco, but it's not as straightforward as it used to be, as he told Mr. Fantastic that he knows Fisk needs to be stopped. The question is, how are we going to do this? Because they do this dance over and over again. They both get knocked down, they both get back up. They've both done time, they both understand everything that is at stake. Maybe the way to stop him is to let him be happy. And so he tells him congratulations. Congratulations to both him and Mary, and he hopes that they found what they're looking for. And as the ceremony begins, we have Mary completely dressed up, looking absolutely amazing. The ceremony is starting to begin. Off in the distance, outside of the city limits, this is where we have Butch. Butch is meeting up with Izzy. But this is the last day that Izzy will ever see. Butch taking this opportunity while everyone is at Mayor Fisk's wedding to take the Kingpin outside the city limits and sit himself upon the throne. As all of this transpires, we have our Daredevils sitting atop a building, watching as everything transpires, watching as this wedding goes on, hoping, just hoping, that Mary will be able to give him everything he needs, hoping that Mary will give him that content nature to no longer want to do evil, to have a regular normal life, and to be better than he ever was before. But that's where we pick up 1 week later. Picking up a week later, we are picking up in a cabin Mayor Fisk has out in the woods. Now this cabin is where he keeps all of his dirty information, all of the information that he has on everyone. Everything he needs to be able to blackmail anyone he wants. And as he is going through his files, he comes across Daredevil identity. But going into this folder, there is nothing inside of it. And Mayor Fisk, he knows something is amiss. He knows something is wrong with this situation. And that is where this issue will end. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, this is a prequel to what is going on currently with Devil's Reign. This was all the buildup that you need to get into this new era where they're having a new civil war. Now, this civil war isn't necessarily heroes against heroes. What we are having is the reformation of Thunderbolts. And so we're seeing Rhino, we're seeing US Agent, we're seeing Doc Ock, all of these individuals hired by Mayor Fisk to be able to come in and implement this new superhero act, this anti-superhero, anti-vigilante act. But I gotta say, throughout most of the Daredevil lines, I have loved everything going on, and this is no exception. Going into Devil's Reign is no exception. Chip Zdarsky has absolutely been killing it when it comes to the Daredevil line. Now, I know that the Civil War thing has definitely been done before, but I really do look forward to seeing how they're gonna do this, if they're gonna stick the landing. It has lots of potential. It could be a lot of fun. We're just gonna have to see if they can really stick the landing on this one and see if it has the potential to become one of those super popular, memorable lines. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.